including Victor Allen's resources. We're going to be attempting to enjoy the setup song as we get ready. Pack stereo. This is the pre-show. Get ready to go live, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing in that Facebook.
I start to wonder if you're there, maybe not alone. I'm going crazy, wondering why you're not answering. I know the time my body's burning, why we let it rain? So pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Don't you keep my body waiting? So pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Don't you know my body's aching? Got it bad.
Getting ready for showtime. Coming up in just a minute.
Baby, call. Pick up, pick up, pick up.
Good evening. Getting ready, everybody, to go live. Pack Stereo TV.
It's 2:30 in the morning, baby, I can sleep. And I wonder if you're up and if you're missing me. Got a feeling deep inside that only you can please. Dying to look at you over, get you hearing me. So pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Don't you keep my body waiting. So pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Don't you know my body's aching? Got it bad. 911. Pick up, pick up, pick up. So bad. Baby, call. Pick up, pick up, pick up. Got it bad. 911. Pick up, pick up, pick up. So bad. Baby, call. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Baby, if you don't answer me, I'm going back to sleep. Oh, this feeling's running deep. I'm gonna have to let it go. Oh, I miss you so. Why don't you pick up?
Ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to start that system. Victor, you ready over there?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Agenda. Here we go.
Your mind can feel a broadcast machine 24/7 days a week. A social media stream. We are not corporate. We're indie to the core, free to do our own thing. We are who we are, and we are Pack Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pack Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pack Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pack Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pack Stereo. We are the new view.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to Real Talk. This is a special show. I realize that Friday nights, you're never exactly sure what you're going to be getting from us. And that's because as the season has been evolving, we've been growing, and things have been growing right along with it. And so right now, tonight, as we continue with that expansion, believe it or not, we're live streaming this episode right now to 12 outlets. I forgot we're doing 2 360 outlets at both YouTube and at Facebook. So a bunch of you should be seeing the 360 right now too. So if you're at Facebook, refresh your page and you're going to have a bunch of options. You can watch Victor's flow, you can watch my flow, you can watch all the different flows, because that's how we're doing it these days at Pack Stereo. Want to acknowledge all of our friends in the chat room. I see some familiar faces, and it's always good to see them. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Mario. I'm here tonight with my partner in crime, as always, the multi-talented man himself, ladies and gentlemen, Victor Allen. What's happening, man?
Hey, man, what's going on, dude?
Friday night agenda, my brother. I know it's a challenge for Vic, because right after this show, it's easier for me because my stuff is right up front. Then right after this show, we go into the I, Victor, feature Miko's challenge. And right now, she's upstairs getting beautiful, as she does every week. So, Vic, you want to give them a little bit of a heads up for what's coming up at 9 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you see that picture right there, that's Miss Thang right there. Now, let me just give you a little bit about me. That's all you're going to get right there. That's all you're going to get. That's it. Because nobody gives a damn, all right? So if you guys need to get away from the politics of the day, if you need to get away from all that jockeying and all the bullshit they're doing, if you don't want to pick left or right, you want to stay somewhere wherever you want, whether it's in the center or off the shelf, come and join us. Because I don't know if the dance routines from last week inspired anybody, because I didn't do much. And I hope you guys are not looking for it this week. But
I am, because I actually, as unhip as I can be sometimes, I was made very much aware that that's Drake's thing.
Right.
That in my feelings,
yes,
he wants everybody to do a dance, and so you're giving in. Now, I must admit, looking at the chat room, I see some names I would like to see do that dance, like Kathleen Hall and my own hottie Candace Renee Rice. And, of course, Albert, you were there in Austin, Texas. But yeah, well, that was Drake challenged a bunch of people,
right? Everyone,
I guess, to dance.
Yeah, everybody's, you drop it at a spot. Most of the time, people are taking the most dangerous routes, like while you're driving, you get that stop sign, you park it right there, get out the car, and you drop it. Now, of course.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the best you can get out of me is probably after I go to the restroom, I'll come back out and drop something for you.
Yeah, I need a drink for that stuff.
That's it. So,
well, that'll be up at 9 o'clock, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, this episode of Real Talk is all about you. And nobody say, what? I said, yeah, it's all about why you should be a broadcaster. Now, Vic, you're very familiar with this topic because over the years, we've done a lot of shows on this, right, Vic? We had a whole series, create your own label, then create your own TV channel.
Right.
All of that stuff is up there on YouTube. If you want to go back and see some old episodes of me when my hair was short, then you could go see that. And we did all those shows. And since that time, things have only gotten better. That's what I'll say that again. Since that time, things have only gotten better for a variety of reasons. One, the cost of failure has never been so low. In other words, you're not risking anything. To go live and become a broadcaster, all you're risking is your reputation. And people will like you for this. But in other words, you're not risking money. It used to be a big deal before to broadcast. And I admit, Pack Stereo here, what you see us doing, that's not the usual stuff. That is so not the usual stuff. But you don't have to do it that way. You don't have to have, 6 cameras and 360 cameras and, I'm working 5 computers and 6 phones. You don't have to do any of that. You could do everything with one phone. And that's the key. We told everybody, when was it, Vic? I think it was back in 2004.
Right.
2005, when I first started touting the fact that as a developer, we were sort of being inundated with the idea that the phone was going to be everything. Have to admit, I didn't get it. Because it was hard to imagine it on the front end. A lot of this stuff is. I couldn't imagine the phone being the center of your universe. And today the phone is the center of your universe. And as it turns out, you can do the most important thing to be a broadcaster is the phone. What do you think about that, Vic?
For me, I'm more or less inspired by the idea that Apple obviously got it right because they're going to be the first company approaching $1 trillion value because of the iPhone by itself. Now, no, yes, the other products work, but that has been the champion. And here's the thing. At what point do people rebel because of the price? Because it just seems like they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it. So yeah, the evolution is here. The phone is so much more powerful now, and if you think it's something now, I just say clock it 5 years from now and see what it's going to do. You'll be laughing at this time. You'll be laughing.
Well, there's the word. So it's happening, you guys. It's happening. And a bunch of you have already started because I know a bunch of you, and you're already planning for your broadcast. It turns out that really the most important factor, we think, in being successful at this has to be your attempts at communicating with the audience out there. I'll say it again. The number one factor with being successful in doing all this is being active with the folks out there. So it's not as hard as you think. What do you mean by that, Mario? Well, we found out that it's not even so much as the equipment. That's probably the least important thing is the equipment. It's more or less how you get out there to promote. We tell people when you do these kind of episodes, even though people focus so much on the episode itself, actually how they spend their time probably should be reversed. Way less work and time on the episodes and a whole lot more work promoting and telling people about what's coming, what's here, and then talking about it afterwards. That is the number one thing now. In fact, we even talk about how many conversations you get involved in per hour and how many hours you do that. So if you're, the expert people are getting in like 20, 25 conversations an hour, and they're spending, 6 to 8 hours a day doing that. I'm not suggesting that, but I am suggesting that you start off with at least 1 hour a day on the internet talking with folks. You can start at Facebook, but there's all the other outlets, and we invite you to try them all. Instagram. Remember, we're streaming to 12 places. So you got to put it wherever the people are. That whole concept of driving people places, that's bullshit. No one really drives anyone anywhere. People talk about that. What you really do is take it to where they are and try to get them to watch. And so that's the thing. So why should you be a broadcaster? Well, for a lot of you, you've been thinking about this kind of stuff for a long time. You've been wanting to write that book, make that movie, sing that song, make that CD, do that show. You've been wanting to do all of those things. And finally, today is the day. You can do all of it. In today's world, you can write that book. You can do it and you can have it out there on Amazon. You can make that movie and that video. You can promote it on iTunes and you can promote it on Amazon, YouTube, all of those places. You can make all of that, your CD. You can have a concert and actually do pay-per-view out of your house, you guys. Right now, these are the kind of things that exist. And people say, Mario, what about getting people to watch? Well, I told you that's the work. But you can do a concert, live concert from your house, pay-per-view, charge them $2 and see if you can get 25 people. You could do a book reading for your book. You could do a video showing you make that quilt or make that cake, okay? You could do videos talking about the stuff you have coming. You don't even have to have it ready yet. You could get started with a series where you don't know exactly what you're going to do, but you're asking everybody to chip in and talk to you about it. And that's kind of what we've been seeing. Vic, tell them a little bit about our experience with the people who've been coming by. What was the number one factor that we talk about that actually inhibited them? It was because they gave up, kind of, right?
Yeah, and I think we go back and we reevaluate that a lot of times. We learn the lesson that we're probably more inspired about what we think they're capable of doing, more so probably than they are. But we're unique in our own way because this is a platform that caters to what they call the simplicity of the guest. And what we were trying to do is say, hey, you guys, ignore this studio. Just walk out here with one device and then show them what and who you are. But if I walked in here and said, well, shoot, I'd rather you guys sit back and show me how you do it and let me just ride with you guys. We were trying to inspire the producer mentality. A lot of people gave up on it because they probably didn't adopt the cell phone as its main function and application to make it simplistic for the upcoming producer. And now it's ever so easy to go out there and say, hey, look, I can take full advantage of this device and see how well I produce.
And they're a little too hard on themselves. I don't know what it is about a lot of folks, but they feel like they should come out of the box hitting home runs. And we had some very, talented people who basically said, Mario, I'm not good. My friends are laughing at me. And I said, you just started. I'm not so sure that most of us are going to walk out there and hit a home run the first time. There is this thing about doing broadcasts, getting better at it, working at it, continuing to try, and then sing. One thing that we learned, and Vic will testify to this too, the public is very forgiving. They don't need you to make a perfect video or have a perfect concert, or they don't need any of it perfect. In today's world, people really don't even expect perfect. So get that out of your mind. In fact, we kind of have teased some of our friends. We know many people that put a bunch of money into doing very elaborate video projects that got no hits. And then other people could do a video where they slap someone upside the head and run and, and don't let me get started with the other stuff, and get 1 million hits, going viral. So remember, don't be so easily discouraged. And we tell people, you need to do it. Pack Stereo did broadcasting for so long with little or no one watching. Little or no one, for a long time. By 2010, we had already uploaded 6,000 videos. We may be one of the most prolific organizations in terms of production and upload. I don't even know what we have now, but many, many. So, why should you be a broadcaster? Well, I just told you. Most of you have something to do, and you got something to say. And a bunch of you have causes that you want to promote. The current political situation has made a bunch of people angry, putting up a lot of posts. Well, you might as well all turn it into an art form because you can. You actually can be a hater and turn that into an art form and be a star. Just have to post wonderful hater videos everywhere about the stuff you hate, and you'll do wonderful, because there's a whole genre of that, and it's working. So keep that in mind. We said, what equipment do you need? I listed 2 examples. The phone, and today the good thing is, I don't even care what phone you have. They all do it. Maybe not those old flip phones, okay, maybe. But they probably do a bunch of it. But everything else, it doesn't make any difference whether you're on T-Mobile or Verizon or Sprint. You don't have to have an iPhone. I happen to like the iPhones because I think that they're easier. But the Samsung phones are wonderful. I got 4 of those now because their video apps are actually better. So the phone is the first thing, and it doesn't have to be a fancy phone. That's the first thing. So you got to get going with that. The second thing I put is studio. Now I'm laughing because studio can mean a bunch of things. It could be like this, a converted garage with a booth and all that kind of stuff. But really, to tell you the truth, all you need for a studio is a corner of a room. That's right, maybe a desk area. That's all you need. You don't need an elaborate studio. You don't need any of that. But it would be nice if you had a corner of a room and that you could make look interesting behind you, whether you do it with artwork, whatever you want to post around you. You personalize what people are seeing around you in your quote-unquote studio, even though it may just be a corner of your bedroom. Keep that in mind, because some of you can start looking around now. And a bunch of you have rooms that are just full of junk. They're just a junk room. Clean up the junk room, fix it up, and now you have your studio. The next item on my list was cost. Because people said, well, how much does everything cost? We need to fix your... No. The cost, even, I have to say this, and I've been paying for Pack Stereo to do what it does forever. But I constantly tell people this: my cost of operation is going like this, straight down. Now let me remind you, this is the way a lot of technologies go. Remember, one day, calculators, which were, the first one I bought was $100. One day calculators were $3, and they were damn near giving away to you free at the cash register. That's just the way the technology went. So, the cost of this, a lot of it is free. Previously, I put out a piece, what was it? The broke-ass artist, bare bones record label. Remember that one, Victor?
Yeah.
Broke-ass artist, how to start your own record label for less than $500 in a week. It's less than that. It's really cheap. I'm assuming you have the music made, but that was the thing. But so the cost of doing all of this goes down. A bunch of it you're already paying for. The phone is probably your biggest expense. Your monthly internet access, which you could probably bum off a friend or go to the library, whatever you have to do, can be cheap or damn near non-existent. And then after that, the services you use, for the most part, are free. Now, I use a bunch of services to take it to another level, which you don't have to do. You know, there's different ways to do it. Some of you may want to stream to multiple places, but you have multiple phones. This is where your old phones that are not even connected to a phone, any phone service. That's why I have so many. These phones aren't connected up to Verizon as phones. They're basically phones that I use to connect to the internet. Vic's got a bunch of them over there too. We do that. So old phones will come in handy. So YouTube is not going to cost. Facebook is not going to cost. Amazon is going to cost you a little in some, but not for what you think. You can have your videos now posted on Amazon. In fact, Pack Stereo, I was going to show you, we're getting our second broadcast up there. I'm going to see if I can pull that up in a second. But Amazon is actually free for you to post videos and have them as part of Amazon Prime, where they'll pay you pennies. Specifically, I believe it's $6,000 for the first 100,000 views. Okay? That's from Amazon to be seen on Amazon Prime. Okay? The problem with Amazon is that for you to put your videos on Amazon, they require a transcription because the videos that go up there have to have captioning. So in other words, you have to have the video typed out so that the dialogue fits and its timing. It's most of you can't do it yourself. And the examples that they do with YouTube are nowhere good enough for what they're going to accept. Yeah, you can get it done when you upload a video to YouTube, but it's just not going to be good enough quality. Amazon is a stickler. They rejected a bunch of my initial episodes because they said I had stretched the graphic, which I had done. I mean, I'm like, Jesus, who doesn't stretch a graphic? I had stretched the graphic, and they didn't allow that. So Amazon is a stickler. Oh, okay, so here we go. Here we go with the Pack Stereo page at Amazon. We only have 2 videos up there so far. Can you show that, Vic?
I'm not seeing it. It's not coming up in mine.
Oh, remember, you might have to unplug.
I did. Yeah, I did already. It's already. That's what I'm saying, because I got to show you that already.
Well, that's all. If you go to Amazon, you can search now Pack Stereo. You can just go there and search us, which is part of the joy. You can go to Amazon.com and search Pack Stereo. You can go to Amazon.com and search Mario Hemsley, Victor Allen. You get it? Think how wonderful that is. You'll be able to see us just by going to search Amazon. And you could do this. If you do a book, it's possible to have your book, your CD on Amazon. A friend of mine, Dr. Herman Bell, did a book, did everything I told him to do. Man, he did everything I told him to do. His book is now out there. He did an audio book version where he got somebody to read it and record it. And he's got that out there for sale on Amazon and iTunes. So he's doing it up. And all of these things are to make sure people know about you. So remember, doesn't cost much. Now, how much time? You know, I'm only laughing because it's funny. Life is like that. Time management is an issue. I recently told a rising star friend of mine, Candace Renee Rice. Some of you may know her from the Floribama series, where she is the star as far as I'm concerned. But she always likes to gripe about her time. I don't have time for this, and I don't have time for that. And I reminded her that adjusting your creative life with your personal life is a task you will have the rest of your life. It started for me when I was in college and peaked in medical school, and it's continued to be a factor since then. But keeping that in mind, the time management of this, and I'm going to give my opinion, but Vic has a very strong opinion about this. He's over there laughing. Okay. I talk to people in terms of hours per day, and it doesn't have to be ridiculous. I think during the time you're setting it up, it's going to take more time, but once everything is set up, I pride myself on telling people that you can manage it for under an hour a day, but it's going to take you more time than that. Go on, Vic. Tell him. Tell him. I know, because see, he's laughing because he always cracks up when I try to simplify some of these things. He goes, yeah. So I want you to hear the other side. Vic, tell him what you think about the time.
Okay. First of all, how serious are you about this? And if you have to get down to the part of saying, well, I only have to do it an hour a day. I said, oh, I guess you really serious about it. Because what I found is when people find something that elevates their consciousness to application, I'm not the judge. I'm the one that's going like this. Did anyone tell you about this platform and give you the speech? Mario says, if you only do it an hour a day. And I remember when he came to me and said, Victor, if I could just get you an hour a day, I said, if it's only an hour, the outlook on this is not cool. It's not cool. Or you got the magic touch, and I only got to give an hour. We about to get enriched. Okay, so which message are you telling people? What you're trying to do reminds me of the infomercials. You only have to. And I said, how many people say I'm the only have to bunch? So I think what Mario's doing is trying to convince you guys, who I know, when you guys apply what you want to do and it's a little love, nobody's telling you, just give me an hour.
No, you can end up working like me, but you don't have to be. What Victor told you is actually a true story. When I started an internet television, which was about 2005, it was one of those periods in time, and I'm sure you have had it, when I looked up, and once again, I was working alone. There's these unique moments in time throughout the years when I would look up, and I would find I was working alone. People had bailed, people gave up, people quit. And when I was getting going in internet television, which we still don't really know how to define, but even then it was even more ambiguous, I went to Vic because he was the only person that I really knew who could really work this with me. He had the particular skill set. He had a bunch of things that were, and I had worked with him on the music. And I asked him to give me an hour a few days a week. And he just laughed at me. And then he got involved in it. And he did just that. I remember Victor's over there, he works 3 switchers, driving a system that I designed. In this studio right now, we're running for 5 cameras, right, Cam? Right? And you got a camera hooked up upstairs.
Yeah.
And Vic didn't know nothing about cameras. I remember Vic, he came and asked me, he said, where's the camera? I said, oh, the camera's over there in the booth and stuff. And so he went and got the camera, and a little while later he came back. He says, where's the camera manual? I said, oh, let me find the camera manual. I got the manual. That's the only help I ever gave him. I am not lying. That is the only help I ever gave him. And some of you who know me and think that I'm a tyrant.
That's jacked.
And I'm not a tyrant, just a former emergency physician. Victor adjusted to everything and I told him we're gonna run this almost like an ER.
Yep.
And that makes it a pain in the ass. We have protocol. Hey, Vic, you learned the use of the word protocol. I have more protocols than, I was, and I told him, I said, in the ER, I get the same drug from the same drawer in the same cart for 20 years. Okay? And when the day comes that it ain't there, someone will die. Okay? So we have protocols. We have backup systems. And with all of that, you still see it messes up. And it's still a challenge at times to get it all right. But that's okay. So how much time does it take? That depends on your age. If you are 18, no time. If you are 25, no time. You want me to explain that to you why? And all the older folks, listen carefully. Half the stuff we use, more than half, are regularly being used by young people for social reasons. In other words, they're using all this same stuff because they're trying to party and get laid, okay? That's why you don't have to teach them shit about Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or none of that stuff. They are using it every day, hardcore, because they're just trying to party, find the party, get to the party, and get laid. So they're chasing the opposite sex. Okay? Now, you older people, dedicated to your craft and disciplined, y'all not chasing no ass. So you ain't using Facebook and Instagram. You're not using none of that because you know what? You ain't trying to get laid. So either you don't care or you already got it. That's Mario's take on that. Because everything that we do, we only have to really explain to people over 40. Okay? When the people come over here that are either a teen or in their early 20s or in their 30s, they are already using all this stuff. And we're just telling them some different things to do, right, Vic?
Yep.
But they're just using it.
True that. That's it.
So maybe you should start using it to try to get laid or get to a party, and you will use it more. Because that's what has to do with the time. See, if I got to teach you about Facebook and teach you about Instagram and teach you about all these other things, it's going to take longer. But let me put that in context. That is not rocket science. I had a friend of mine, also a physician, trying to tell me how hard this stuff was. And I said, you went to medical school. I had another friend, I won't say your name, Audrey.
That's jacked up.
She said, I don't understand this stuff. And I said to her, and she will quote you. She will quote me and tell you I did. I said to her, how many hours have you tried? Because I told her she loves to call me with technical stuff. And true to Mario Hemsley's style, after you call me a couple of times, I'm going to say, did you Google it? Because really, you shouldn't call me until you've Googled it. Because what you're trying, well, that takes too long. Oh, so you want to take up my time. But you can't spend none of your time. Are you that busy? Are they knocking at your door demanding you to go do something? Oh, so you have time. So, you mean to tell me that when it comes to Instagram, you can't go Google Instagram, how to use Instagram, spend half an hour reading something? I can guarantee you most of this stuff, you could learn it by reading for under an hour and watching 4 to 5 videos on YouTube, because every topic that exists is on YouTube. I'm having back surgery next week. I already watched the whole surgery on YouTube. Okay? The stuff is out there. You can learn it. I recently had trouble with my phone and I was posting about it. And I realized once my phone went down, I had no backup. And I was just thinking of the friends that I know. I have friends, they would be like, you mean you can't hack a phone? That's the kind of people I'm hanging. They were like, geez, Mario, we've been hacking. I said, I know. It took me 15 minutes to search cloning SIM cards. It then took me another 5 minutes to go to Amazon and order a SIM card clone for under $20. And so now I know how to clone SIM cards. I'm going to take all my backup phones and have them ready to go. I'm going to be cloned. I'm going to be a cloning son of a bitch, okay? And my point being, a bunch of this stuff is not hard to learn. You have to put in the time to go learn it. It's not rocket science, and indeed, most of you have done things more difficult. So keep that in mind. Yes. Is it fun? It's also, to me, it is. I keep up whatever the latest technology. See, that's why Pack Stereo was designed for change. That's why all this change that goes on, it rocks the world. It rocks all the industry. It don't rock us at all. We were designed for change. We institute every new technology as soon as it becomes available, and we do it seamlessly. We tested, Vic, how many Twitter clones?
I can't admit, too many. Too many.
We did at least 5 or 6 Twitter clones that failed.
Yeah.
We've done, so we use every technology. Does that take a lot of time? Not as much as you would think. I mean, I can tell you that I retired this past June from Kaiser. But before that, I was working 3 12s a week and spending every other day in my studio doing things. Totally livable. And I'm also known for getting out and attending damn near all the good concerts, right, Vic? Eating out.
Yeah.
So I used to tell people, do you feel the air of pressure here at the studio? Do you feel the overwhelming pressure, the sense of desperation? And they would go, no, I don't really feel any pressure. I said, because there is none. There is none. There's no pressure. There's no sense of desperation. It's just fun. So, that's when it comes to how much time it takes. You know, like I said, it all depends on your age, how good you are at your phone, but it doesn't have to take long. If you're absolutely lousy with the phone, you know, working with the phone 2 to 3 hours a day, and under a week, you're gonna be super. You're gonna be like the teenagers you know. Just put a little time. The next topic related to this is the role of social media. That cannot be understated. Lord, that cannot be understated. I say it again, it cannot be understated. Because this is how you go from being no one to being known. Pack Stereo has well over 15 million views. 15 million. With the stuff we're putting out. We've done a bunch of great stuff, and we've done some stuff that's not so great. The big thing is that social media has been something we've embraced from the beginning. So you see me with my old ass trying to be on Instagram. I'm using all of it. I said, so social media is invaluable. I want to ask the man who I call our guru of social media, Victor Allen. He's the guru. And Miko not to be messed with either. Miko's no joke when it comes to her social media, what she's doing. She's someone to emulate and watch. But Vic, the role of social media.
From what? Plus, okay. What age are we talking to? Because
we have to qualify that. I know we have to qualify.
Okay, let me.
Because a bunch of old folks are going, what's social media?
Well, hey, look. Let me say this. When you're older, look. If you're over 35, over 40 years of age, man, look, you really want to be a champion of your accomplishments. That's typically where most older folks go. Here's what I've been doing. Very measured in what I'm doing. Don't want to show everybody I'm hanging out. You know how you get to that certain age, they say you better not be hanging out a lot. But I say that all depends on how enriched you are. And what I mean by that is that if you've already gained a lot of success, you tend to network more, you tend to socialize more. But you do it with a different principle and a different focus. So when we're talking, I completely understand. When I go on certain apps, don't think I'm not aware that when I go on certain apps, I laugh if I can find somebody that's close to my age. I laugh.
Nobody. We're not. And then people say, Mario, you're being seen with young girls. That's all I'm meeting.
Right.
And they seem to like an old brother, so right. I don't know.
Right. I mean, look, part of this is it's just guilt by association. On one hand, you got to be very careful. Be measured about what you're doing because you can't be over a certain age and you out there amongst people that you may be 20, 25 years older than. Because they're going to attach this thing that, oh, I see what you're doing. You know, like the back in the old days when your parents said, hey, stay away from them, those dirty old men. So what is social media? Well, you don't have to do what we're doing. You literally can do what you do. If you're applying it to building a fan following or growing a community. If you're not doing that, take your one app, be happy with your one app, and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. I think we have to preface this with are people trying to gain a following by the demonstration of their empowerment, information, entertainment, or otherwise. So once that happens, then I apply, here are the successful models. And let me say this, collaborate as much as you can. If you don't have a community, be part of a community. It will help, it does help. But if you're satisfied with just, your one, this is me. I only need Instagram. Ask Trump. He only needs Twitter.
But stuff changes, man.
He don't need anything else.
Yeah.
And be prepared like anything else. A few of these apps are going to fall off as success.
Oh, yes.
Nobody saw MySpace doing
Yeah,
what he did.
yeah. How much MySpace did we used to
Oh,
do?
man.
Because
A
Vic
whole
was
lot.
managing the profiles. What were you managing, Vic? How many MySpace profiles did I create?
It was, I think it was around 60-something. 60,
Yeah, I made the profiles, but he worked them.
Yeah, 60-something profiles every day. And that itself, what it taught us is that we're able to apply. What we learned from it is what was missing or needed more attention, your brand. The platform got the brand, but we were in the age of now individuality, and social media says, show us you. And so what we did is build what we call a branding extension to introduce to the community. We're going to be bringing content, and it'll be in various ways. And it was very successful, but MySpace is gone, right?
Right. But think that
In
the
the same
change is
way.
constant.
It's not gone, period. It's gone from what it used to be.
What it used to be. It used to be.
Yeah.
But change is the constant. I'll give you an example of one of the ones I recently became aware of. We had a bunch of real estate folks come by. Remember, Vic, we had a flurry of people in real
Yeah.
estate they were looking at, and they were all young real estate folks.
Yeah.
Now, what's so interesting, the world of real estate has been affected by social media. Now, more and more real estate agents will tell you that when the people that contact them, they've already looked at the house online.
Right.
They know the specs. They've gone online, looked at all these things, financing so the world of real estate has changed. You know, I mean, you can still do it the old way, but believe me, a bunch of the young folks are getting to be known online. So when people want to buy from out of state, they go looking for them.
Right.
That's
true.
just amazing. This is what's happening.
Well, they're growing up with it, so they don't see it as being something they have to adapt to. It's like growing up with you having an AM radio and you go, I have to learn how to work it. No, I grew up with it. If you were from that time, if you're from the cassette time, 8-track time, CD time, you really didn't go like, oh, I really have to learn it. You said, how can I make this work better? That's what you would do. This is a different time, man.
It is a different time. In fact, Vic, just as a quick aside, I was on the phone with, I can't remember who, somebody trying to arrange something, and they wanted my email. And for the first time, I ran into a young person who didn't know the word stereo.
What does that tell you?
Vic and I discussed this when we continue with PAX stereo.
Right.
PAX meaning peace, and stereo is an old word, but we felt, we debated how the value of branding,
Right.
the fact that we had already been out there forever,
Right.
influenced it too.
Right.
But I actually had a person who didn't know the word stereo. So, what can I say? Hey, just a minute to acknowledge the people in the chat room. Again, Kathleen Hall, Candace Renee, Albert Taylor. I see Thornton Dickerson, one of my wonderful support systems. Thank you, Thornton, for being there. Tracy Minor Smith Carter. You know, Tracy, that's a lot of names. Tracy Minor Smith Carter. Thank you, Tracy, with your bad self. Alpha Knapp.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Alpha. What's up, Alpha?
Ricky Diaz. Oh, Ricky Diaz.
Happy belated birthday, bro.
Yes, all of y'all. Ricky Diaz, love the way Ricky sings. What's happening, Ricky? You know that. We love your voice. Ricky's been here. Videos. Mac McAllister, our 78-year-old techie who keeps trying to claim he ain't a techie, but he does animation. He started with a software. I think we found it together, right, Mac? Or I turned him on to it when we first met. I stopped using it, and he turned it to another art form with what he's doing. So there's folks out there. So again, saying hi to all you folks in the room, because a lot of you, let's put it like this. If you need to augment whatever you're doing in any kind of way, or if you're trying to get the word out for other things you want to do, your side job, then you're going to just look at it this way. We're not giving you a bunch of tasks. You have to learn to deal with social media and the phone. I go like, I wish a bunch of the stuff I had done in life had been that simple. And I'm not saying it's simple, and it's going to be growing and learning. But again, it's not rocket science, you know. And if you're lucky enough to have a teenager in the house, This is one of those times they can help you. Maybe you could put them to work on your Instagram. You know, I remember a buddy of mine calling me with a technical question, and I could hear his 14-year-old in the background. Daddy, I know how to do that. He had a daughter. He kept asking me questions. I said, I could hear it. Daddy, I know how to do that. I said, you want to can you hear her in the background? And I said, why don't you go listen to it? He had kind of, oh man, she always says she knew how to do exactly what he wanted to do. You just have to sometimes start letting your 13-year-old show you something. Heavens forbid, Lord. So, one of the most important reasons to me for becoming a broadcaster has to do with things that to me are priceless. In this sense, I have to be personal. I found out a lot about myself, you guys, doing this. And I think you will be too. For one, if you're one of my friends who's discussed this with me, and a bunch of you have, I've marveled over the fact that I seem somehow to know a bunch of people who seem to be broadcast ready. They have the look, they have the personality, maybe it's just the karmic experience, but they seem to be broadcast ready. The rewards for this, for me, have been priceless. I designed this system back in the day because some friends of mine, including that wonderful Meredith Beale, Lasting Value, we have been working toward broadcasting systems for internet television. And what we really needed was a scheduler, a way to schedule videos to play at a certain time. And a lot of people were designing it. I was looking online and people had schedulers, $1,500, $250 a month. Like, you're out of your mind. My whole operation wasn't costing $250 a month at that time. It still costs less than $500 a month to do everything I do. So I was like, I'm not paying for that. And then one day, software that I was aware of that I was using for quote unquote radio stuff, audio, announced that they had it was a little announcement, they didn't make much of it, but they had added a feature. So now, while they could still play all the audio files, MP3 files at the time, all of that, you can now play Windows media files. Just little print. But you know, I'm a geek, and I have a tremendous attention to detail. I saw that and said, what? What do you mean we could play Windows media files? I wouldn't follow up on that. Yes, you could play. I said, what kind of window? You know, you could play video, you could play pictures. It'll come up in the machine. I was like, you're kidding me. I went to work that night because if you could play a Windows media file, then you could play nothing but. Overnight, I adapted that radio station software to be used for live broadcasts, and I continue to use that same system. Not only that, in the interest of sharing that with the independent community, because I'm a child of the 60s and all that, first started using the term brother, I tried to share this with everybody, right, Vic? Yeah. I was on the internet telling everybody, you could be a broadcaster. Here's how the machine works. I designed it. I'm selling everybody. This is it. No secrets. Crickets. As my father said, you could have heard a rat piss on cotton. Went around LA telling people, I got this broadcast system. It'll broadcast over the internet 24 hours. I know a bunch of people, film and all that, TV, and they were like, you know, Mario, I don't get it. I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Vic, did one person give us videos to show? One.
Not that I know of.
None. Vic, how many channels did I build for other people?
Well, if you want to include thematic and for people, You built over what, about 300? Okay.
How many people of that 300 did I build channels for free?
Right.
Gave it away. How many of those went on to successfully continue a channel?
2 people, you and me.
How many tried?
2, you and me.
So nobody even tried. No one gave a shit. Okay, I'm just telling you. So the secrets for how to do this broadcast has been out there for a long time, and I told people. And the software that I use, I have the pro version, which together costs about $250, but they have a light version that runs about $80. That'll do most of it. The other broadcast software, I use Station Playlist. People have used Sam Broadcaster. Sam will do it too, just more clumsily. So, the reward of doing that, see, people say to me, Mario, if you made 300 channels and no one did anything, when somebody asked me, said, did you feel discouraged at 289? And the answer is no, I'm not discouraged still. You know what I realized? We were ahead of our time. Being ahead of your time, it's rough. I remember when I was talking about streaming and people were thinking I was talking about trout fishing.
Yes, Jack.
Right, Dick?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember people calling me up. Mario, that Twitter thing you were talking about, that's big. That's really big. And I was like, yeah. I even had someone really close to me told me, you know, Mario, I never even thought this internet stuff was going to be anything. I said, really, the whole internet? The whole thing? Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be anything. So, when you are pioneering, you are often on your own. People don't get it. But I can tell you the reward is priceless. I grew because no one would give us videos. Vic and I started doing our own broadcasts because no one would give us any. No one would give us anything, nothing. So because I used to get up in the morning and smoke some weed and watch a lot of news because I'm a politics and news junkie, I decided to do a news commentary show. Vic said he would do sports. He also used to spend time online looking at pictures of pretty girls.
That's jacked up.
And so he came up with Hot Picks, where we just rate and talk about pictures of people online. It was a big hit. We went on to do more. I'm doing Marijuana for Dummies. Amazon asked for all of this. So now we're putting all of this stuff on Amazon. I have 35 episodes. There's 2 up there now because they are so nitpicky about everything. I have to change this and make that. If they don't like the graphic or they don't like the description. But we have 35 episodes that's going to be on Amazon. And we have 2 up there now. You can go on Amazon and search Pack Stereo. Search my name. You will find us. The rewards are priceless. It's priceless because we attacked something where we were no one. We were no one. And we were able to really conquer that and develop. Vic used to always say, when we did the music, I finished 9 CDs. He had the 1. And his big thing was, I can't really point to this because we've never performed. I don't feel like I'm a producer. Now, he knows he's a producer. He has proof. And when you go to IMDb and see all those things that we have up there now and search us, because now that Amazon has bought IMDb and Twitch, and because the world is now accepting people who produce webisodes and all these wonderful new words that you know, none of which we actually ever used. We have tremendous listings, and that's why we are going forward on Amazon, on YouTube, on Twitch, with everything that we're doing. So, that's why you should be a broadcaster, okay? For all of those reasons. because you can promote your product, you can promote your cause. The equipment needs are minimal, a phone. Your studio could be a corner of your room, your bedroom. The cost is minimal, almost free. Like I said, the price of failure has never been this low. It doesn't cost you anything to fail. How much time does it take? Well, you heard a couple opinions on that. But it certainly isn't overwhelming. You've heard us stress the role of social media. And then I came to tell you that the rewards are indeed priceless. So, I can tell you this too. I had promised you guys a tour of the studio. You know, we're not ready for that. Because I was supposed to have the phone app ready, Vic.
Right.
To go live with the phone app.
Right.
It's too much stuff, you guys. Plus, I made that trip to the dispensary and tired, you know. But I'm glad I can see some of you have already inspired. Britt is on the web talking about he's about to go clone some SIM cards. Yeah, cloning a SIM card is, I had friends who would laugh at me because you can't hack a phone. See, that shows you the kind of people I hang around with too, criminals. You can't hack a phone. We were hacking phones back in '07, as I remember. I hacked a bunch of stuff with you back then, bunch of software. Now it's cheap. We hacked the software because it was $1,000. Now it's $29.95. I don't hack anymore. I just purchase. It's like copying videos, right? When's the last time you copied a movie?
Right. True.
So things change. So we're going to give you a tour of the studio in an upcoming episode. We're sure you're going to love it. And that's been this episode of Real Talk with Martin. Vic, you got any commentary before we go, buddy?
No, man, you did a good job, man. I'm truly blessed that you put all those older folks under the bus. You did, man. You went there, threw them under the bus.
I'm not even going to start that. I'm not even going to start that because you know we crack some jokes and people
Right.
are already laughing.
Right.
Thank you all for tuning in. We invite you to enjoy. I'm going to spin some free music at Pax Stereo TV, even though I'm going to stop the broadcast. I got to stop the broadcast so it'll segment, So I'm going to stop the broadcast, but then I'm going to be spinning some music. In the meantime, for those of you who want to stick around and watch, you have to go to paxstereo.tv/watch. But for those of you who want to watch, I'm going to be playing some great music. And we're going to be live here at 9 o'clock for the award-winning I, Victor featuring Miko's Challenge. All right. Thank you all. Peace, y'all.
Something your mind can feel. A broadcast machine, 24/7 days a week. A social media stream. We are not corporate. We're indie to the core, free to do our own thing. We are who we are, and we are Pax Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pax Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pax Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pax Stereo. We are the new view. We are Pax Stereo. We are the new view.
Alexa, begin playlist broadcast transition.
Your playlist, Broadcast Transition, on Amazon Music.
Okay, he said it was. All right, at this point in time, we're going to disconnect to Facebook, Vic. Thank you, Facebook. Yes, remember, we'll be back. We'll be back. Say bye to my Facebook people. Bye, Facebook people. We'll be back at 9. Go get a pizza.